hello, everybody. This is Tamika Grooms. I am here on YouTube on Kids Lit ATL TV, and I just wanted to come on real quick and share my screen with you all. If I can figure out how to do that. Um, Hold on one moment. Let's see if I can get my screen to share. And I think we're off. Okay, so my name is Tamika Grooms. I am here on Kids Lit ATL TV, and I hope y'all are having a fabulous 2021. We are here again, and I wanted to work on this sketch that I've already started to develop and see if I can refine it a little bit as we go on this YouTube live. So if you have been following the channel, you'll know that I'm just now wrapping up my Vlogmas 2020 month of vlogging and trying to create content for Kids Lit ATL TV. And what we did in the month of December is talk a little bit about creating children's books, some of the tools and resources you may need, as well as I did some Kids Lit ATL chats and some speed drawings so you can see how I go through the illustration process for developing illustrations for children's books. I'm also a writer, and so I didn't touch on that so much, but what I provided in the Vlogmas 2020 is some resources for you if you're interested in learning more about creating children's books. It's mostly geared towards people who are just starting out in children's books, but there's some great things in that Vlogmas 2020. So I do hope that you'll be able to check that out. All right, so let me go ahead and get started. This is my first live, my first post, and my first drawing for 2021. And this year has already gotten started with a bang. And 2020 had lots to teach me, lots to show me. But what I really want to talk about in the beginning of this is you know, with 2020, I learned a lot about myself, about what I was capable of doing, what I was willing to do to get what I wanted in this life. And it gave me some clarity, it gave me time, it gave me some stillness to be able to just be still and listen instead of running all the time, which is exactly what I was doing. Um, I am I tend to be a very busy person, so sometimes I need to slow down. And 2020 gave me the opportunity to do that, and it helped me to focus and learn some things about myself, create some new things in my own life, and show me that I can show up for me. And so, although was lots of challenging, awful, unspeakable things that happened in 2020, um, I think that there's always some good if we choose to look and focus on that as well. I know and I feel like everything is always in divine order, and the things that are supposed to happen, even if it's things that we may not really want. So, um, but I did myself actually had a lot of good things happen to me this year. So I'm grateful. And I always try to find the good in the things um, and express the gratitude for all the things, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of that. Because I think that reframes how we see the world and helps to create, helps to bring better things to us. So welcome back, y'all. If you've been here before, I welcome you back and thank you for coming back. If you have friends or people who you think may be interested in the content that is being created here at Kids Lit ATL TV, please tell them about it. Please share. Um, the reason why I do this is to help people who really want to learn more about children's books. And so sometimes there, there's lots of information out there. But the way that I present it may resonate with some people. It may not resonate with others. But I'm using my voice and my experience, my knowledge, the things that I've gone through to share that with the people who come to this channel. So if that jives with you, I hope you'll keep visiting as I continue to create more work. All right, so I have this little girl here, and she is celebrating 2020. I'm sorry, 2021, um, because she's happy about the new year that's been, you know, given to us. And so I want to show you real quick. I didn't do. Actually, I molded this. This came out of my brain. I'm not copying it from anything, but what I did is use some tools to kind of find the shape that I wanted her body to be in. So if I was looking at her body in blocks, I started off by finding her spine and where that actually lands in space. She's expressing excitement in her body movement. So I wanted each and every part of her to express that. So when you're acting or you're positioning your characters, you're really acting out, especially if you're not working from a reference, you're acting out in your own body sometimes what that character is doing. So if you are expressing excitement, if you think about what your own body does, it opens up from the heart. It opens up from the heart, from the belly, and expresses joy outward, right? And so that joy expresses all the way out through the fingertips, all the way out through the hips, through the knees, through the toes, and through the face. So, what I was trying to do is create create these lines, and some of this could actually be a little bit better, but create these lines of expression. I keep wanting this to go, so I may have to shift her arm, but maybe not. But these lines of expression that come out from her heart, right? And so same thing here. I'm blocking off. So all I'm doing now that I've kind of figured out what I'm doing with the character, and I've already gone through this exercise, so I just wanted to drop this in so you could see. We have the knees, the kneecaps, the ball of the foot. I'm sorry, the heel of the foot, the ball of the foot, heel of the foot, ball of the foot, triangular shape of the foot. It's like a wedge. And then all of this is soft in the belly. And then in the hands, kind of a oh gosh, I'm forgetting my geometry. Trapezoid rhombus shape. Oh no, trapezoidal shape. And I'm not gonna focus on the fingers, but same thing, both hands, kind of trapezoidal shape, just to rough it in. And then if I wanted to find the different circles in her face. Okay, so anyway, rough sketch. I'm almost working in reverse now. And so this is roughly what she would have started out looking like as I worked through the sketch. All right. Um, so one second. And all right, so we have that. So I just wanted you to see where the thought process started and then where it moves towards, right? And then I refined the sketch. There was lots of messy stages that I just did not include in this because sometimes when I'm on the screen, I get a little self-conscious about what I'm creating. And so I wanted to make sure that I worked out, the different things that I was making up on the fly. Now, sometimes you will see me get on this screen and make up stuff on the fly, but sometimes it's hit and miss. So I didn't want it to be a miss today. I wanted to hit with this one. So, all right. So anyway, so I'm removing some of the construction lines. Yep. And I can go back in and define some things. I don't even know what kind of clothes she's going to be wearing just yet. But being that we are all in pandemic mode and oh, and we're encouraged to stay home for the holiday. Oops, sorry for the noise in the background. That we were encouraged to stay home for the holiday. She's probably going to be in something very casual. Most of the time, kids aren't out partying anyhow, but let's say that she is in her official pandemic PJ clothes or something. Let's see what that might be. I have no idea. If you're on this live and you have some ideas, please let me know. Oh gosh, sorry for the noise. I'm sitting right by the laundry room. I've been in cleanup mode for the past 48 hours trying to get the house in order. It's just something that I do as a ritual every year. I want to make sure that everything's in order going into the new year, and so I don't bring any of that any negative energy from the previous year. So, all right, so let's see what this little person is gonna be wearing. Maybe she has on a sleep shirt, night shirt, sleep shirt with ruffles, maybe. And the ruffles have an expression too. Everything that you show in the image means something. I probably should do this on a different layer. Let's try that again. Let's put her clothing on a different layer. So if I mess up, it's not, I don't have to start over. So let's do this. I want a little bit of her belly button to show. I want this to curve around. So I have daughters, and they give me so much inspiration, even though they're big girls now. One of them's grown, the other one is trying to be grown. If you have children, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, they're good kids. They're creative. They're smart, but they're growing up. But they left me a lot of information about how to draw children, and I watched how they move through the world when they were little, and their friends give me lots of inspiration too. One of my youngest daughter, she has a friend that wears these cool glasses all the time. If she ever watches this video, she'll know exactly who I'm talking about her. But she gives me so much inspiration when I see her because I'm like, oh my gosh, she would make a great character to draw. And so I'm probably going to draw her one day. She has another friend that is a wonderful expressive dancer, and yeah, so I just want to draw children that reflect the communities that I the community that I live in. Um, and I want the children that I see to see themselves in these books. And so one of the ways that I am able to do that is using them as inspiration, you know? And so, I'm getting a little too carried away with these little details. So, drawing on her clothing, I'm trying to learn to be more detail oriented, detail oriented in how I costume my characters. Um, I'm always learning something, how to do something better. And luckily, I've had wonderful teachers along the way, um, formal teachers as well as mentors and people I see online and people that I'm in community with through SCBWI. Um, so I just try to be around creative folks. That's how I learn and get better. It's, I don't want to say it's through osmosis because that surely isn't. You definitely have to pull out that pen and that paper or that tablet or whatever it is that you use, and you need to get to work. That's the only way to get better. But I think being in community with other people, watching them draw, just even listening to people talk about their process is super duper important. Um, Partially because it makes you know, it helps you know that you're not the only one out there working through the same issues and problem solving, you know, whether it's technology or the actual art itself, you're not by yourself in this process. But even when they start to share how they use the tools or how they think about creating art, um, it helps you to evaluate and look at your own art too and see, areas where you can grow. And it's not competition, it's not critique all the time, sometimes it's just inspiration and you want to get better. So here I am practicing in front of you all, and I hope that your 2020 has gotten off to a wonderful start. I really and truly do. I want her belly button to show just a tiny bit here, not too much. And let's see. Clean. Oh, I may end up having to take this to the body layer, but I think what I'll do is I'll copy. Yeah, I'll copy first. I should have left that there, but it's okay. All right, so I'm on the body layer. I'm going to go back to the clothing layer, but let's go ahead and duplicate this first. Oh, let me show y'all this. So I'm going to go ahead and freeze my body layer and my clothing layer. So this is where I started. Let me show you some of these iterations that I went through. Um, this is a different version. And then this is the other version that I worked through. So between these two, she had her legs up higher in the air. She was actually off the ground. And then I started thinking, maybe something more realistic would be where her foot was still in contact or at least a little closer to the ground. And that, for some reason, that felt more natural to me as opposed to her jumping all the way up. So, um, yeah, so her arm moved, her leg moved, and I was just kind of working through some things. So, all right, so let's get back to it. So we have our character, we have her clothing that I'm throwing on. So we're dressing her. It kind of reminds me of when oh, I forgot what I was about to say. Shoot. Oh, my mom used to get me paper dolls when I was little, and she was a seamstress, a very talented seamstress, and so she used to get me these paper dolls. Are paper dolls even still a thing? Do kids even still play with that? Probably not. Everything's so digital nowadays. And I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying the being able to cut, paste, fold, understanding textures of paper and manipulating things with your hand is also important. But we grow and we evolve, and so I don't know. They may still be a thing, but I don't know. All right, so let's put some socks on her. I don't know where I'm going with all of this. Maybe they're going to be striped socks. Her feet look a little big. May have to adjust this. Let's see if we can minimize the size of her big old feet. I usually have to pare down my characters um, a little bit at a time. I think because of how I draw um, with, finding the form, it's almost like I'm molding the characters out, especially if I'm making it up out of my head. And sometimes those straight lines give a little more body to the character than they may need. So like the feet and the legs are sometimes get a little bit too long. So I just try to be really conscious of if I'm doing that or not. So I'm turning her foot a little bit too much that way, so we don't want to do that. Definitely want to keep it towards the front ball of her foot. And she's going to have on socks anyway, so I'll lose some of this definition, I think. Not unless I put on toe socks, then I'll have to keep some of it, but just want to reshape this heel, reshape this foot just a tiny bit. Ankle's in the wrong place. Get her toes, baby toes. That's a little awkward. Oh gosh. All right, so yeah, that's a little better. Same thing here. Got her big old feet. The shape is not right at all. So let's start over. All right, so we have her heel, her foot, her heel, her foot, her big toe, little toes. Okay, something to that effect. And that foot is going back into the page. All right, so let me go back to the clothing layer. And so what I'm thinking is maybe you can have some sort of colorful socks on. I don't know. And maybe these really should have ruffles. Ruffles to match. I don't know. Something. She actually looks a little too old for some of this. All right. And clean up some of this business here. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. I'm on the wrong layer. It's okay. All right. So the great thing is that I saved. I still don't want to. I'm going to duplicate this layer again before I end up changing it and erasing it. So let me keep on working through some of this with the clothing, and then I'll go clean up the I think maybe these should be just a little bit looser. I was going for leggings at first, um, like a tighter legging, but now I don't want to do that. I changed my mind. Changed my mind. So I want these to be a little bit looser. Yep. Let's go back and erase a little bit. And looser PJs. Dun, dun, dun. Boom, boom, boom. And then boom. Let's make these looser so they come out here. Boom, 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 boom. And erase some of this stuff. All right, so decent. Let me go to her hands because I know I didn't finish those off too much. And they're looking a little unfinished. So we have these expressions in the palm of the hand. Hands are so tricky, but I like the challenge of drawing things that I have to work a little harder to create. Um, Mostly because I don't necessarily like for everything to be easy all the time, because then that means I'm not growing and I'm not getting better. I'm not being challenged. Um, but I have to be careful of that too, because I don't want to go into, oh shoot, I messed up. I'm on the wrong layer again. uh, so I have to make sure I don't go into proving mode, because really it's about the process of creating the art. It's not about proving anything to anybody, about how hard you worked on a drawing to increase the value. This has nothing to do with it. You can create great art that's simple too, and sometimes the simple art says a whole lot more as opposed to overworking something, or you know just doing too much. Sometimes we say you're doing the most, so you don't have to do the most. Just show up and do good work, right? Whatever that looks like. All right, so a little bit more definition in the hands and the fingers. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to roll with this. I'm going to roll with this, and I'm going to, before I merge down, let's go ahead and erase some of these lines that were just for me to figure out where she is in space. Oops. Let's draw that back. This layer. And so also too, I forgot to tell y'all, I'm using Adobe Fresco. And I'm using, which thing am I on? I have no idea what I'm using. What? It's probably the the pencil, or the let's see. Ay ay ay. Excuse me. All right, so let me go back to what I was doing. Got a little distracted by a phone call. Right, so all right. And so we want the clothing to express joy too. And so the problem solving part becomes, how do you make clothing express joy? You can do it through color, you can do it through movement, um, movement in the actual fabrics, and you can do it through the type of clothing you choose. Because you're probably choosing something with purpose if you're choosing clothing. Just like when you wake up in the morning and you feel a certain way, you might pick a certain style of clothing to express that. So yeah. Something to that effect. I'm not quite sure what's going on with this arm. Erase a little bit more. Maybe it'll come to me. And clean this area up. All right, I think that's good enough for now. And I want to look at this hand one more time. Look at the shape of the hand. Same thing like what I did on the other hand. I want those fingers to express joy. Also, I have to have the fingers drawn correctly too, so. Well, that looks a little weird. Sometimes you gotta draw things weird to get them right. Oh yeah, that's definitely odd. So I thought I had all this worked out before I got on this live, but you always find something else that could be better. Anywho, yeah, it's definitely looking odd. I'm gonna have to come back to this hand. Anyway, okay. And just do a little bit of refining on the face. I'm kind of okay with how this is looking. I think it just needs to be cleaned up. We'll keep her nose nice and simple. Keep her mouth simple. We'll see what that actually looks like. I'm not quite jiving with the shape of the mouth right now, but it'll come to me. And she's gonna have her eyes closed. Yeah, let's take this mouth off here. Let's just keep it simple. She's wide-eyed. Her nose needs to come down just a tiny bit. And yep. All right, so we have our character here. Excuse me for the noise in the background again. I thought my dryer was going to stop. I'm going to go ahead and merge this down. I'm going to erase a little bit more on this body part. Erase, erase, erase. Clean up, clean up, clean up. Hmm. Hmm. Something's not driving right here. Just erase some of this. Yeah. Something like that. Let's clean up this part. Let's clean up that part. Clean up that part. And okay. So she's got on her jammies. And she's probably going to be staying up a little late to watch the ball drop. Probably should have did this video yesterday, but I was busy yesterday cooking crab legs and cleaning the house and all kind of stuff. So I knew that wasn't going to happen. I have to be realistic about what I can do. All right, so anyway, I got my character here. Let me erase some of this. And I'm finally, pretty much okay with some of the details. And her clothing. This sketch is just for fun. All right, yeah. So let's go ahead and go ahead and let's go ahead and I'm gonna erase this. I want to drop in some color just for fun. This is just a sketch and just something to help me work through the process of drawing. And clean this up a little bit. Oops. Her. All right, so we have our character here. I am happy with her. So let's just start coloring some things and see what we can come up with. Um, all right, so yeah, let's do this. I keep seeing things that need to be fixed. So she's got her little belly button showing just a teeny tiny bit. Got her clothing. She's a rough sketch. Do 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 do. Boom boom boom. And she's expressing her joy. Um, so like I said before, I've been through a few of the iterations for this. So let me just freeze my sketch. We started off here. We went here, and I played with some of the positioning of the arms and the legs because I wasn't drawing from a character. Then I kind of figured out what I wanted her body to express, and then moved to dressing her. And so now we have this character here, and that's what we got. All right, so I want to just start dropping in color. This is gonna be rough. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking to show up and welcome you all in to 2021 on my live stream. So I hope that you are having a blessed 2021 thus far. I know a lot of people are happy to see 2020 gone on, as we say down south. um, but yeah, we accept what is, whether it's good or bad, and you know make the most of what is. So um, I always trust that there's a lot of good that's coming my way. So I try to express gratitude in all of those things, good, bad, or otherwise. All right, so I'm here using Adobe Fresco. And let's just start drawing. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Let's figure out what colors we might use. So maybe that for her skin tone. I don't want to go too stark. Oh, oh, I just had an idea. Maybe she has purple hair. Who says hair has to be its natural color? Purple might be good. Um, let's see. Maybe she has on. What colors to use? What colors? Let's maybe let's go with some. So her skin is brown. See what this yellow looks like. My eyes are getting a little tired, so not quite seeing the colors the way I need to, but let's see if we can make some things work. Um, maybe a green. I don't know. I'm thinking off the top of my head, and this is looking very Mardi Gras. So, so maybe she is really in celebration mode. So anyway, so let's use that as my color layer. I'm going to create a new layer, and let's take that. Oh, so the great thing about Adobe Fresco is it saves all my colors. Um, and I don't have to I have my color palette right there for me. But the only thing is, like, because I mix colors, especially for skin tones a lot, what I'll end up doing sometimes is coming with with all these shades of flesh tones, whatever it is, and I forget which one is which, because it's such a fine thing when you're talking about skin tones, and like everybody has so many colors within their skin. It's not just one color, and it's also not just the color of the skin. So you'll also see some of that light bouncing off, or the things that are around them influencing the color that shows up on the page. So um, because I tend to see that, or look for it. Um, don't judge my hands. This is a sketch, y'all. uh, but because I tend to see all of that, I sometimes I forget which colors that I use. All of this is gonna get cleaned up, so don't worry about these stray lines. Don't judge me, judgy. All right, so we are just cleaning up some of this in these fine areas. We'll come back, clean up all the lines. I just wanted to drop some color in real fast. And so for me, it's a little bit of an iterative process. Iterative process. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. All right, so boom, boom, boom. Skin tone. Let's go back here. Fill in the arm. Fill in the hand. And her palms will be a different color. Zoom in so I can actually see. Filling all that in. All I'm just doing at this point is just blocking in color. I'll come back and clean up some of these lines. But I will say sometimes I like the sketchiness, and I'm drawing digitally, but sometimes I like the sketchiness to stay, because I grew up as an artist drawing with traditional media in my formative years. Not really, but no. I uh, I started off using traditional materials, and I actually really like drawing a lot. Um, I paint pretty decently. Paint gives me the opportunity to do some other things, but I really enjoy drawing, and I love the sketchiness that I get with my art. And when I see it in other artists, it's like there's some vibrancy and there's movement in those lines. And sometimes when I get a little too tight, I have to be mindful not to lose the movement, um, and not let the characters become too static. So, so I'm going to drop some purple hair on her. I just felt like she should have purple hair, so that's what we're doing today. And I may change my mind. Who knows? But for right now, I want her to have purple hair. I had purple hair one time. It wasn't too cute on me. Um, it's probably my least favorite color that I dropped in my hair, but it was fun. But I don't think it was for me. Maybe it wasn't for me at the time either, but it definitely was fun. All right, so purple hair. And usually what I'll do is I'll come back and do another layer on top of all these sketches. So you'll see. Let's put on some clothes. Maybe she's yellow. I think my initial idea was pink, but I don't necessarily want to go with the traditional idea of what girls are supposed to wear. Ah, I need to fix the sketch a little bit on this. Okay, so fill. I'm just filling in. Mm-hmm. Fill. So I don't know what you all ate for New Year's, but I just decided I was just going to share this because there's some dead space. So I live in the South, and we have a tradition in the South that you eat black eyed peas and collard greens, or I'm sorry, greens of some sort, um, during New Year's. I made because I'm not a huge fan of black eyed peas, um, and I actually prefer kale, sauteed kale over collard greens, but it depends on what I want then. But I did sauteed kale and Hoppin' Johns, and so Hoppin' Johns is a southern recipe of, oh shoot, I'm messing up, of rice, beans. You can add meat if you want to. Usually there's onion and garlic. It's a savory dish and lots of spices. It's really good. Um, and so that's usually what I eat to work around my desire not to eat black eyed peas by themselves. Um, but I talked to my godmother, and she actually is from Savannah, and she made her Hoppin' Johns with red peas, or what does she call them? It's red peas, and I think it may be Crowder peas, she said, but it's a different type of pea that is probably from the Savannah or the coastal areas of Georgia and South Carolina. And I think she may be of Gullah Geechee heritage. I had a grandmother that they always used to say that she was Gullah. I was never able to confirm that, but that's what we say, at least, that she had Gullah Geechee background in her blood. So, and a lot of people do from the South. What am I doing? I'm erasing. And so, anyway, I said that to say it is a traditional thing in the South that's rooted in West African traditional cooking. And so that's what we ate today. We had that along with sweet potatoes and what else did we have? Oh, I made an ambrosia salad. So some pineapple, citrus, and all that stuff. So we ate good today. Ate very well. And so as a gift to myself, I sit and draw with y'all on live and take that time for myself to sit and be still and enjoy the process of figuring out this character. Yeah. And it is indeed a process. Um, I started working on this sketch earlier with some friends online, and it evolved, and it's still evolving. So I'm just letting myself go through that process of figuring out who this character is. So she is joyful. She's happy for the new year. She's she's probably stayed up late watching the ball drop. Does she need? No, we're gonna. Excuse me. We're gonna mix things up. I think I'm gonna add some things to her clothing, but let me just get the base color in first. I have no idea where I'm going with this. I'm just kind of going with the flow. Just going with the flow. So I'll come back, I'll clean up some of these areas by doing a layer on top. In fact, let me just so you can kind of see, just in case you're not here, um, as I continue to develop this. So usually what I do, it varies sometimes, but usually what I'll do is I'll take, let's say for instance, let's add a layer on top of my sketch, and I want to start to add some highlights. So this is where it's valuable to have either my color. So let me see. Hold on. My color swatches here on the side. Let's go back to this layer and try. Oh, that's a little muddy. I don't like that one. Not quite what I was looking for. Hold on. I need something just a little bit brighter for that highlight. Yeah, something like that. So let's go a little bit more lemony bright. Maybe that'll work. And I want to think about where the light source is. And so let's put it on her face. Come back and get her sock. So I'm going on top of this layer. And it didn't show up. All right, so let's use a different brush. That didn't show up. Man, come on, Adobe Fresco. Next brush. No, it's not showing up. All right. I have to find a brush that is gonna drop this down in an opaque way. Oh, that's a little bit better. Not that opaque. All right, but I do like let's take this opacity down. Okay, all right, that's good. Okay, so now I have all these. What is my computer doing? Okay. I think the computer's getting tired too. My eyes are getting tired. So I have these lines that are messy, 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 messy. And so what I'll do is I'll go over a few of them. Oh, my computer. Come on. There we go. I'll go over a few of them to clean them up. Clean them up, clean them up. And oh, I'm liking this brush though, because it's letting me keep some of that, so I don't lose all the energy in refining it. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're putting some highlights on her front of her body. The light is hitting her face. Yes, I definitely like this brush. So I want to make sure. I'm drawing on the wrong layer again. And my cat wants to hop in my lap. It never fails. It's either the cat or the child. Somebody's coming in to interrupt the live. Anywho, I digress. All right, so we have these little ruffles. I'm going to start to clean up a few of these. Boom, boom, boom. So it's okay that I had these messy lines, because as I start to refine it, all that stuff starts to fade away. All right, so that's that. I want to, while I have y'all's attention, oh my gosh, what's going on here? Okay. While I have your attention, just in case you can't stay on, I do want to go to the face a little bit so you can see how she's progressing. So this is the style of brush that I'm using for coloring her body. And so I'm going to use the same one on a different layer for her face. And let's go back to the color palette. I want to choose a lighter color that I can use to highlight. And I'm probably going to have to drop the opacity down a little bit on this one because I don't want it to be too stark. And it's a little stark. Drop it down even more. And I need that brush to be bigger. I might have to change the brush on this one. I think the color's wrong. So that's a brighter one. Let's take it down one notch. So this is where I start to come up with multiple shades in the skin. Sometimes I have to find it. I think that may work. All right, so oops. Error. All right, so let's drop this. Merge this layer down. I was drawing on the wrong layer. And go back up to that one. Okay. All right, so we have our sketch. Yeah, I think that's going to be soft enough. We have our sketch. I just want to start to round out some of her facial features. So the style for this one that I'm using is slightly cartoonish, but not so much where it's like a caricature. Sometimes my work looks like, well, kind of in this style, and it depends on what I'm drawing it for. But I do like for the children to look not so much like caricatures. That's just me. I'm not a fan of doing Disney eyes. Um, and it's not that I dislike Disney eyes. It's just that I think that it kind of works against um, the style that I usually work in. I can do it though. It's just not my normal style. That's all. All right, so we'll have to fix some things on here. And we're gonna butter out her skin just a little bit. Her eyes are just a little bit wider than I want them to be. But I'll fix it. And we're gonna drop in. I'm gonna go ahead and go up into her hairline just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. Yep. And I'm also going to start to fill out her cheeks on this side because there's a lot of joy and light hitting this side of her face. She's made it past 2020 just like all of us have, and there's a lot to celebrate. So I want that joy to show on her face. Yeah. All right. So I'll go back in and clean up some things. Come here. And before I get too far, I want to make sure that this is actually going to work. So let me go back to the other color that I had. So I'm going back to that color that was too light. I'm going to drop that shading, the opacity down one more level because I really just barely want to. Yeah, it's too low. Is that the same color? Oh my gosh, I can't see now. This is the one I want. Now I'm wondering about the choice I made. Hold on, let's see. All right, let's change the brush. Let's see if that helps. So I was on Brushy Mixer, which is one of my favorite brushes. Let's see if this one works better. It's pixelated, but this is a high resolution file. I think I need to take this just a tad bit lighter for it to show up. Just a teeny, yep, there it goes. Teeny tiny bit. So I just want to bring some another level of light to her face. Mm-hmm. All right, so something to that effect. All right, so let's see here. Before I fix her face, I want to go ahead and go to the level of her hair because I'm probably not gonna finish this today or on this live. I don't know. Maybe I will. Who knows? But I want to go ahead and start filling in some of this hair. So let's go back to our brushy mixer. I'm working in Adobe Fresco. Oops, not the one I wanted. Is that the one I want? Try it one more time. Maybe I want the soft brush, soft chalk. Nope, that's not it either, I don't think. Yeah, that's not it. That's not it. Let's go back to the brushy pen. So all I'm really trying to do is to go back on top of her hair, or I'm trying to make some of these lines that I used in the sketch disappear. And probably not all of them. They do kind of inform the drawing, but I don't want them to overpower. All right, so let's minimize this a little bit. Let's go in with a darker color, the darker purple. Um, mm-hmm. Don't know that I want to use the mixer brush on this one. I think maybe I'll try this graphite. Let's see how that works, okay? All right, so creating the shadow for her. I don't like that. Anyway, I'm creating the shadow for her hair. So I got to decide how realistic I want this to look in terms of her character design. Wasn't going for super realistic, but start to build it out. So let's go with a lighter purple for some highlights in this front here. Right now I'm just getting some shading and highlights, and she's gonna have pillowy soft hair. She'll have her hair kind of swooped back. Oh, come on, computer. And let's go to the brushy mixer, the brush mixer. Go to the detailed one. I'm gonna go one more level up And what I'm thinking is once I get my colors the way I want them to for the base colors, oh man, shoot, that I can come back in with some like a different type of brush on top to add some texture because things tend to get a little flat with my digital drawing, so I want to be conscious of that, just to give some interesting textures. So I know some little girls that have purple hair. Maybe not, maybe not this purple, but purple nonetheless. This is purple, purple, like for real. All right, so all I did is I just so you can kind of see where I'm coming from. My sketch. If I back out of this a little bit at a time, I dropped in my undercolors. Oh, that's the wrong layer. I dropped in my undercolors. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but my base colors. On top of this and underneath and on top of this sketch. And I have my color palette that I'm working with here. And prior to this sketch, there was this sketch. Prior to that, there was this shape. And prior to that, actually, because I did things out of order, I played around with the positioning of the body. So this has been through a few iterations, and I'm just really trying to figure out how to create the most expressive character through line, color, body movement to come up with this character who is very happy that 2021 is finally here, as I hope most of you all are as well. Right, so she has some bright light on her face. All right, so I think I kind of know where I'm going with this. I am thinking I probably do want to do some hand lettering at some point. But let's just move on to, let's go back. Let's go back to the, get willy-nilly on it. Am I on the right layer? Yeah. Go back to filling in these details. So now I'm on a layer on top of my sketch. And I'm going back in, I'm cleaning up some of the messiness that was showing through from the sketch. Trying to define things a little bit better. Boom, boom, boom. All right. And size up this brush a little bit. She has some light here. That's not right. I have to remember where her body actually is in all of this. Something like that. Okay. And then the ruffles. Let's go with a slightly darker yellow to start. Oh, not that color. And not too green either. Slightly darker color here on the back side of her body. because there's no light. I'm sorry, not no light. There's there's light, but there's not the same amount of light. At least the way I'm drawing it. Not correct. So I think I'm gonna leave some of the sketchiness and let that kind of come through. And what I'm feeling like she needs is maybe some designs. I don't know, maybe polka dots or something. She, I feel like she needs something to to really express her energy through her clothing. I don't quite know how I'm going to do that yet, or what I'm going to do for the clothing. I'll figure it out. Okay. All right. So same thing on her bottoms. Since I have it up, since I have this same color, I'm just going to go ahead and keep moving with it. So I like to build out the form a little bit at a time, and it ends up giving me a lot of different colors. Um, Probably more so than I actually want to work with sometimes, but because it would be easier if I just left her a solid yellow, right? Um, but depending on what you're going, this is way too many lines. Depending on what I'm going for, I may need to mold it out a little bit more. I'll figure it out. So I want to get far enough on this. ah! Oh my gosh, what's going on here? Okay. That's not what I meant to do. And let's try this one more time. Undo. So I'm trying to express energy through the clothing, express emotion through the clothing. So that you can kind of get a feel. I don't want to lose these lines. I really don't. So you can kind of start to get a feel for this character and how excited she is to be in a new year. She probably is like most of us. Um, I'm doing the wrong line, wrong color. She probably was like most of us, stayed up a little later than normal and watched the ball drop. Oh, it's not choosing my color. Come on. I think my computer's starting to get a little tired. I've been on it for a while. So now I'm going to go in here and add some highlights to the front of her trousers, her pants, her bloomers, her PJs, whatever you want to call them. And start to bring in something like that. All right, so she has elastic in these pants. And let's switch back the color to the other one because there's no light. I mean, there's less light on this side. So I can start to define these ruffles and hopefully I won't overdo it. I might have overdid it, but hey. Oh my gosh, am I on? No, I'm on the right layer. Okay. And this is the underside of her clothing. And I feel like this needs one more layer of darkness to round that out. So let's go one more shade lighter. One more shade lighter without going too green. And I don't want it to blend in with her skin tone too much either. So all the things to be mindful of. It's good enough, I guess. And so since I started to lose a few lines, I'll probably go back on top of the sketch and define some things. But I did want it to kind of have a sketchiness. I didn't want it to be super defined, but I wanted it to look like she was moving in space too. Okay, so I'm thinking she may end up wearing polka dots. Maybe. If you all have some ideas of what I should put her in terms of clothing, I'm accepting feedback. Um, and also too, if you're interested, follow my channel. I'll be doing more posts like this. Vlogmas 2020 was a great way to get me started off on being more consistent with my content creation. And my whole goal really is to help people who are in the early stages of learning about children's books, giving them resources and information to help them along their path. We need those stories in the industry. And so if I can be of assistance in helping people learn more, then, that's what I'll do. That's why I created this channel specifically. And so Vlogmas 2020, what am I doing? Vlogmas 2020 allowed me to come outside of the box and play with the other people on the internet instead of just creating in my own world. Sometimes we all have to get a little uncomfortable to grow. So Vlogmas 2020 was actually a really good thing for me to do, and I'm glad that I did do it. So I learned a lot about myself. I learned that showing up is one of the biggest things you can do for yourself, showing up over and over again, even when things aren't perfect. Um, there were some of the videos that I did, if you look back at it, they were not perfect. And in fact, none of them were perfect, but I don't think really any of that matters, um, because I had a goal, and that goal was to create the content for the people I'm creating it for. So I feel like I did that. And so to me, when you set goals and you accomplish them, it does something not for your ego, but it does something for your confidence and you being able to show up more authentically as yourself in the world. And so I feel like 2020 was a blessing for me in that way because it gave me time to show up for myself, and I'm very grateful for that. Very, very grateful. There's lots that happened in 2020 that was not good, but there was a lot that was good, you know. And so it just depends on what you choose to focus on, and knowing that all things really do happen in divine order, at least in my opinion, my humble opinion. Now, next week, y'all may have to remind me that I said that because, sometimes things aren't perfect and we want them to be. Oh, man, I'm messing up. See, that's why you can't draw and talk at the same time. Let me focus. Let me refocus. Ay, ay, ay. I totally lost what I was doing. Let me go back. So what I need to do now, because I overshot the sock, I wasn't paying attention that I actually still need to see this, at least until I draw the socks on here. All right, so I'm feeling like she needs some Rainbow Bright socks, maybe. And if you don't know who Rainbow Bright is, that means you're too young to be watching this channel. I'm teasing. I am teasing. Let me go to a different layer. Um, I think my computer's starting to slow down just a tiny bit. So I may have to give it a second. New layer. Let's drop in. Nope, I need a richer color, a richer color than that. So let's change the brush. Come on, Adobe. I'm on the wrong layer. My layer's in the wrong place, rather. So let's drop it below my sketch. I want to go underneath. What is it doing? There we go. Underneath. So I have my socks here. Who says matching is a thing? Who cares about matching things? I think she has. Oh, I think I'm missing a toe. uh, we'll just say it's on the other side of her foot. All right, so okay, so I'm gonna drop the color in for the toes, and then I'm gonna start to build out my Rainbow Bright socks. For those of you who grew up in the 80s, I'm really curious if you had a favorite character, um, cartoon character. I know, like a lot in my very early years, it was Bugs Bunny. I was a big Bugs Bunny fan. But what is it? Jim and the Holograms. I used to like them. The Thundercats. Um, I used to like Mad Magazine, and I would read Archie. I wasn't a whole lot into the other comics, but Mad Magazine was really my thing. I had a subscription. Um, the Smurfs and all those Saturday cartoons. Do they even still have Saturday cartoons? Probably not. Everything's streaming or online now. I don't know. But I know kids have their own things that they're into now. So, all right, so she has her socks. I'm going to start to go, I want to go above this layer now. So I'll add another layer on top. And now I'm going to start to clean up this messiness I have here before I start to drop in the color. Patricia Polacco is one of my favorite storytellers. Oh my God, I love her stories. And almost always, consistently, when I read her books, I cry. Like whether it's tears of joy or whatever. Like Patricia Polacco she's always grasping at my heartstrings in some kind of way. And I may be saying her name wrong, um, but I enjoy her style of storytelling. And the stories can be a little long sometimes, but you know, um, she does it superbly, I think. These toes look weird, y'all. I know they look weird. Don't judge me. I'm actually okay with it. There is some of it is intentional, so don't judge my toes. Um, I like drawing kids' toes and hands. Oh, I'm losing the shape again. Kids' toes and hands in an expressive way. Um, because I think it says a whole lot to the way we use those body parts. And so sometimes, even like here, I kind of intentionally did that. I could fix this foot, but I may not fix the foot. We'll see. Some of it really is intentional. But if it bothers me too much, I'll go back and change it. I know what it's supposed to look like. Ah, just take this back. So I got a lot of dirty lines in here. So I want to clean those up a little bit. And I may add some black lines back on top of these colors because I don't want to lose the sketchiness too much. I really do want some of that to continue to show through. All right. Let's give it a second. There we go. Ah, don't shut down. All right, so I'm just going in, cleaning up some of these lines. Do, 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 do. I'll come back again on top, just like I did. All right, so it's bothering me. So let me just go ahead and fix it. Toe's not supposed to be. Well, actually, that's okay. I'm okay with wonky toes. Alrighty. Okay, so let's fix this. That looks a mess. Come on, computer. And let's fix this area right here so it's not so muddy looking. Even though I'm going to go back on top of that with the color anyway. Yeah. All right. Boom, boom, boom. And I have some stray color. There we go. Okay. So This child is not matching at all. All right, so I already started going over some of these lines. And let's put that form back in there. I think I'm going to do some hand lettering in the end. I actually really enjoy doing letters. Not necessarily easy, but it's actually pretty fun. Definitely not a pro at it. I don't know all the typography things that I probably can learn, but I enjoy letters. My mother was she was a teacher and a librarian when I was younger. Eventually, she ended up doing technology related services for the government years ago. But what was I about to say? Oh, so she was very clear that she wanted to make sure her children knew how to write well. And so um, when I was in the fifth grade, I had an English teacher that was a stickler about writing. And I think she and my mother had a meet. Actually, I know she and my mother had a conference meeting about my handwriting. And um, I just remember my mom just being a stickler about writing, and that it had to be it had to be like you had to do it right. So she wanted us to make sure that we knew how to, write the right way. So cursive and all that was a thing. You needed to know how to write clearly, legibly, accurately, and all that stuff. And so I had a teacher that was like that as well. And as I got older, I really liked calligraphy because I knew I was essentially drawing letters as opposed to um, writing them. It became more of an art thing. So that was pretty fun. So I still have a high appreciation for line work and for lines, the expression and the meaning that they have in whatever it is that you're creating. I think that my computer has had enough, or at least Fresco has had enough. I do apologize. What happened to my drawing? Oh, here we go. Let's just keep going. Hmm. Did I have this in the wrong location? The layer's in the wrong place. It's okay, I'll fix it. Okay, so she has on these socks. I'm going in right now and cleaning up some of these wonky lines, wonky toes. Not really concerned about having perfect lines. Okay, boom. All right, so I'm going to let's start adding a layer of color here. So one more layer. Let's go down the rainbow. Red, orange. Zoom in. Orange. I might have to change. Yeah, I gotta change. Ooh. Oh, there it goes. So we have, oops, bear with me, y'all. Come on, computer. Red, orange. Ah, it's too big. It's too big. Orange. Maybe still too big. Maybe this is not the brush I need to use. Let's try a different one. Yeah, let's try this one. Red, orange. It's pixelated when you zoom in, but it's not going to look like that because it's a higher resolution file. Red, orange. So she has on rainbow bright socks. Red, orange. So I find myself paying more attention to how children dress and how they put their wardrobes together, or parents put their wardrobes together when they go out in public, just so that I could use that to inform my work. Um, and what's all is cute very often is when the children dress themselves and they pretty much put on whatever they feel like putting it on. And it doesn't necessarily matter if it matches. um, it's more so about expressing who they are in that moment. I watched the RuPaul talk on Masterclass, I believe it is, and he talked about how we really need to put time into our wardrobe and expressing who we are every time we go out into the world, because it says something about who we think we are. Um, and of course, I'm paraphrasing. RuPaul probably said it so much better than I ever could. But it just made me more conscious of how we express ourselves and who we think we are and who we say we are, um, when we go out into the world. So, all right. So anyway, this little person has on rainbow bright socks. So we got red. I overshot that just a little bit. Red, orange, yellow. Let's go back to the green that I already have on deck. Come on, computer. Come on. Ay, ay, ay. Red, orange, yellow. Red, orange, yellow, green. Come on, computer. Go. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue. So my daughter, it seems like this is a thing now. Um, she wanted some LED lights for her bedroom for Christmas. She wanted LED lights for her bedroom for Christmas. And it's funny, she just walked into the room, so she's going to hear me talk about her. But anyway, she got one of these LED lights for her bedroom, and they light her room up all these different colors. And so sometimes from the outside of the house, the room is bright red, bright green, blue, purple, all different kinds of colors. And it's actually pretty cool. Um, I like to give my kids room to express themselves, especially in their own domain, as long as it doesn't damage the house. My mom actually was the same way. I used to paint on my walls in watercolor. And the great thing about watercolor is you can just wash it off. But I used to paint my room whatever color I wanted. Most of the time it was purple or lavender or something like that. But I used to paint the room color, but I also used to paint on the walls, like mini murals on the walls, and she didn't care. She let me do my thing, which is probably why I like painting on walls now. I think in the past year I've probably done maybe 6 or 7 murals in Atlanta. And one of my goals when I moved to Atlanta, I said before I leave Atlanta, this is like in my 20s when I first got here. I said before I leave Atlanta, I want to have done murals. And so I've done them. So I don't know if that means I'm about to leave. But the great thing, great thing is that, now I can, the world is different. Like the world is bigger than it was 20 years ago. I'm sorry, the world is actually smaller. But, and we're mobile, not just physically mobile in some ways, but we can work from anywhere. We have that flexibility. So who knows? Maybe I'll move to California. I don't know, y'all. I'm just talking. I'm just talking as I figure out what this child is actually going to be wearing. This process is so long. Good God. There's thoughts that go into creating an illustration. You think you're drawn for kids and it's easy. Not necessarily. Um, do I want to keep going with this? I don't know. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Hi, yeah. Let's see. Guess the question is, does it add to or take away? I want to move on to something else because these socks are wearing me out. Let's go to um, so let's go back to her clothing and then I'll go to her skin. Since I'm in clothing mode, we have our highlights here. And I'm thinking maybe some white polka dots might be a nice addition. Or maybe not white, maybe green. Something that doesn't match. She's a kid that has purple hair, so why wouldn't she have green polka dots on her clothing, right? I'm just saying. Or maybe purple's a better color because it's opposite and it matches her hair. I'll figure it out. All right, so let's go with purple polka dots. I'm on a different layer, so if I hate it, I go and do something else. I hope y'all are having a wonderful Friday and a beautiful start to 20. You know what? Let me focus. A beautiful start to 2021. It's going to be really important that I pay attention to the folds. So let me think about what I'm doing this for a second. Hmm. Do I want to do polka dots? Do I want to make my life this hard? Polka dots seem like or the way I could do it. Maybe let's not be so literal. Maybe it's okay that I don't know. I'm just trying to see if I want to follow. If I want to make it like it's a pattern underneath her clothing. Yeah, I think I gotta stick with the style that I started off with. Boo, boo, boo. All right, let's just clear this later layer. Do I want to do polka dots? I might not want to do polka dots. Let's see. Maybe it's stripes. Stripes may be a little easier to tackle. Yeah, yeah. So let's do the stripes underneath this layer. So I wanted what I'm thinking. See, this is what happens when you make up stuff on the fly. Because this isn't really doing what I wanted to do. Clear this layer too. Okay, let's try this one more time. So her chest has shape. So I want to make sure that I don't lose this, even though I'm going into the folds. I'm not feeling the stripes. Jeez. No. Maybe it's polka dots. Maybe it's smaller polka dots. I just didn't want it to be solid. And I wanted it to look like the folds impact the way it's not turning out the way I want it to now. Boo, boo, boo. All right, so let's just 86 this idea. I think I've been on too long and I need a break. So let's go to something that's a little bit easier to tackle. And I'm going to go back to her skin. I'm going to leave her yellow clothing for now, and I'll decide if I want to I'll decide if I want to. Here we go. Let's go back to this. I'll decide if I want to actually do a pattern on her clothing or not. I may or might. I don't know. We'll see. Let's just keep moving. I want to go ahead and wrap this up soon. Let's come on, computer. Put some color. Here we go. Come on, computer. There we go. All right, I need a bigger brush. Not that big. Boom, boom, boom. She has light that's hitting this top part of her arm. She has palms that are a little bit lighter. Come on, computer. And I I'll probably take it even one more shade lighter on her hands. And I'll clean up some of these lines here. Mm-hmm. Try not to get off in the weeds too much with these details, because I really could, if I wanted to, just create the expression of the hands as opposed to being too detail oriented. Just depends on what I want to do, I guess, but and how much time I want to spend doing that. All right, so let's add more. Come on, computer. Let's add one more. I think I need to take that shade down just a teeny tiny bit. No, a little bit more. Okay. Still not there. I think my mixer brush is mixing the color just kind of okay, but I don't want to mix and be here all day. So, but I think I just have the wrong brush. Shucks. I do. The great thing too that I'm really digging about Adobe Fresco is I like to blend colors a lot, and um, they have this brush. I'm sorry, this smudge tool that makes it easier for me to do that. So I'm probably going to end up doing that with this because I'm not really feeling the starkness of the color that I'm getting here. So let's just go on to the smudge tool and fix that. Soften it so it all kind of blends together a little bit more. Sometimes too that actually helps with some of the pixelation that I may get. And then I'm gonna come back in, go with a darker, go back to a darker brown, come back on top of, nope, not that. Let's get the right brush. All right. Oh. And then I can kind of soften this a little bit. See, y'all thought I was just going to leave these messy lines. I hope you didn't think that. I have to come back and clean it up a little bit. I do want some of the sketchiness to show through, but I don't want it to be too messy. Now I can do a messy drawing easy, but we probably should clean things up just a tiny bit. Excuse me. All right, and so let's go back to my sketch. Now that I understand where some of the something like that. I'm not going to erase all of the straight lines, just enough to kind of clean it up a bit. All right, yeah, yeah. Okay, same thing on the other side. Actually, let's go to her face real quick. Make sure I'm on the right layer. Boom, boom, yep. Let's go to underneath her chin, which should be a little bit darker. That is not the right color. Here, I need a slightly darker brown. Come now, computer. I'm going to give myself a few more minutes on this. I could probably sit here for the next 2 hours drawing, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to myself. I'm not going to do that to you. I really appreciate you all being on the live though. So let me just tie up some of these areas if I can get the right colors. Oh, and not lose all my lines. I'm losing them. I'm going to go back on top of this anyway one more time. This side of her body, I would like to have it be just a tiny bit darker because most of the light is on the front side of her body. I did a little bit better at defining this hand early on, but yeah. Okay. And let's go back with a lighter brown first to clean up the lines. Just a little clean up here. Something like that. And then I'm going to go back with the lighter color in her palms. Come on, computer. There we go. My daughter asked me what day it was. I keep having to remember that it is actually Friday, I think. I'm already, losing track of the days. What do we do? What do you do? Get a calendar. That'll help me keep track of the days. All right. Let's see here. This one I overshot the lightness. I didn't want to go this light. I did not. I built it up before on the other one. And this one I went straight into the colors, so now I gotta fix it. Yeah. I don't like that one so much. I'm gonna have to go back and fix the lines on it, but it's okay for now, I think. I think this is the color. I just want to drop some lighter areas here, lighter areas here. I think I need to use my smudge tool because the brushy mixer is not working quite the way I wanted it to. Brushy mixer, brushy mixer. Oh, am I on the wrong layer? I hope not. All right. Hmm. I just used my finger on the screen as if I was really going to be able to smudge it. Oh my God. I just had a traditional media flashback. Um, I guess that's kind of good because that means that my brain thinks that this is still what I normally do. It's like smudging with charcoals or pastels, which is actually what I probably the reason why I blend so much um, is because I that's what I learned to do. So looks like it's ingrained in me to smudge with my fingers or smudge with something. All right, so yeah, so I want to go back over all of this and let's define some things because I think I'm about to hit my my block. I'm tired, y'all. So let me just go ahead and finish this off and let me let you see where I am now. I think that's good enough for now. And I'm gonna drop in some black and maybe some other textures or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll use a graphite or fountain pen might be interesting. Come on, fountain pen. Yeah, let's try that. Fountain pen, just to define something. Clean up some lines. The one tricky thing though about fresco is it leaves like if my hand touches the screen, I'll get these little dots everywhere, which kind of is not fun. You got to go back and fix that stuff. But I don't know what the solution to that is. Okay, and let's try to keep the energy that I had before. With the original sketch. And I don't even feel like I need to stay in the lines with her hair, or like I want it to feel sketchy. So I don't. It doesn't necessarily have to be a perfect outline. I really don't want to do that anyway. I want it to come outside a little bit. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so I'm using my fountain pen. I'm dropping in more and more lines. Okay, so yeah, I'm actually digging how this turned out. I'm not done with it, but I think sometimes you just gotta walk away. Um, and I'm hitting the walk away point. My computer hung in there. Uh, 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 uh. Mhm. Okay, add some lines back here because I lost some of that. And you know what? I said I was going to do hand lettering, and I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to keep playing with the sketchy style. I think I may try to copy some Patricia Polacco characters so I can kind of learn what she's doing. I had an artist recently give me permission to copy. And I was like, man, why hadn't I been doing that all along? I mean, if you copy, you be able to learn what somebody else did, and then you take what you need and you leave what you don't. Come on, computer. And so I may. There's a few artists who I think are master storytellers, visually as well as in terms of words that I would benefit from copying. And so yeah. Anyway, so I think we're close on this. I think we're close, and we're catching some of the details now that I want to keep. And I'm gonna add some sketchiness back in here. Boom, 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 boom. Since I wasn't able to get the depth of color, and I also want to use line to express some things too. So yeah, so maybe I'll just add some lines back on here, add some sketchiness back on here. There's some shadows that I'm losing. That might be might be beneficial to have. Excuse me. Hmm, something like that. I keep saying I'm gonna walk away, but I keep trying. What is that about? I guess that is that I just really enjoy the process, right? And when you enjoy something, you will sit and do it until it says it's done, or until it wins and your body cannot do anything else. So I really do enjoy drawing. Um, yeah, I'm digging this right here. All right, so now I don't want to walk away. Huh? I feel like maybe we can add some. Come on, computer. Come on, computer. Some more textural things, not so literal. Maybe that's the solution for my polka dots I was trying to add in earlier too. I don't know. Hmm. Now I'm getting other ideas. Oh, I know what I can do. Ah. I have an idea. Don't overdo it. I think I'm overdoing it. I must tread lightly at this point. It's so easy to overdo. Yeah. See? And maybe instead of going over this with color, maybe I take some of this yellow, maybe really light yellow. There's some lines that can probably pop all the way out here. I don't know. Man, I remember a few years ago I was trying to do digital drawing and It really sucked. And my drawings just, I mean, I've learned a lot in a short period of time. That's what I'm trying to say. And if you're somebody who wants to draw and illustrate and all that stuff, just be encouraged. Go through the process because there ain't no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts, but you will learn more and more by being around other artists, by going through the process of failing, learning to see, learning to render, learning to interpret and to express. Um, there's so much to learn, but the only way you get it is by doing it. There's no shortcuts. I wish there were, because I'd be a master by now. But until that time, I keep drawing. I keep trying to get better. That's the only solution for me. So if you find another way, please let me know, because I would be happy to find that shortcut. I really would. Oh, come on, computer. Ay, 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 don't lock up on me now. I'm almost there. Almost there. Yeah, let's not lose that line completely. Only a little bit. All I'm doing is just adding a few more expressive lines. Not that one. Maybe something like that. I don't know. Alrighty. I think, is it time to walk away? I think it's time to walk away. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how she turned out. Um, I feel like maybe she needs some confetti or something. I don't know. But let's turn this off. And to end this off, just so that you know that I am wishing you all the best and brightest 2021 you could possibly imagine. I have a few words that I want to add to the top of this. No, go back. All right, y'all. So this is my sketch for today. Um, I thank you all for those who were able to hop in and watch some of the live. I know that I was on here for such a long time, but I'm glad I was able to get on and do a little bit of drawing here today. So I expect that there will be a lot more coming up in 2021. And it's been my pleasure. I'm so happy that you all were able to join me. And thank you so much. My name is Tamika Grooms. This is Kids Lit ATL TV. And stay tuned. If you want to learn more about illustration and writing for children, I talk about both of those on this channel. There's lots of information that I've already been creating over the past few years. And I just wrapped up Vlogmas 2020 to create more content around that. And I'm trying to get better and better about going online and sharing. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm wishing you all the best in 2021. And y'all be easy. Be easy. And I'll see you soon. Bye bye.